welcome back to Rusted Up Garage Smart Car Edition. It's brought to you by popsicles. Many of the ones with ice cream in the middle of them. So what's hot down here in Alabama? We got a smart car that has metal shavings in the engine. Talked to the engine guy. He told me that the metal pieces don't belong in our oil filter. He advised me that we probably just needed to go ahead and pull the motor out. Yeah, excuse me, my ice cream's melted. Frankly, this is pretty important right now. So what we're going to do tonight, this evening, is we're just going to pull the motor out of the car. If I pull the motor out of the car, I mean basically everything from about here back, including the tires, the brakes, the exhaust, transmission, yeah, all of it. Now, I haven't seen a whole lot of videos on this, but I mean, it's smaller than my golf cart. I figured it can't be that difficult. I ever did it before? Nope. But what better way to do it than just do it? So, I want to thank you all for subscribing and liking, and if you haven't, go ahead and hit the button. If you're into smart cars, this video might just be for you. If you're not into smart cars and you just want to see a little go-kart tore apart, this video still might be for you. If you like ice cream, okay, this video might be for you. I'm just saying, throwing that one out there. But what I'm going to do is turn some fans on, get some things running here. But we're going to start, we're going to peel some plastic and stuff off. We'll set the camera up. And we're going to bring you in when we're doing this. So you can, see what it takes to pull it out. We'll get it out, and then we can get the motor split from the transmission and get it apart and see if we can fix it. Because ultimately, we're going to sell old Blitzen. Much as I hate to, she's been a good reindeer. But it's time to sell her and give her to a new home. So if you're interested in a smart car, again, it might be for you. It has all the options. But we need some parts for the Oldsmobile back there. You can kind of see in the distance. So we're thinking we'll sell this so we can buy parts for that. Seems like a pretty good idea to me. So again, thanks a lot for subscribing. And if you haven't, hit it. And let's get this video going, Zach. I'm out of ice cream. It's not good. Well, I'll get some more ice cream. Okay, I'm going to talk loud because we're going to leave a fan on because it's hot and I can't eat ice cream while I'm doing this. So, if you look inside the smart car, this is what it looks like. We did fold the seats ahead to just kind of gain us some room here and rolled the rug back like this, okay? And then that's the motor and that's the transmission in one of these, okay? That's the computer to run it. We do know that this harness right here needs to go down through the car, needs to come out with the bottom. So we're going to unhook this guy here, which is a simple pull this down and it pops out. There's a ground wire here and another wire here that needs to come out of this harness. Where's the other one? I know there's like 3 wires here that need to come out. This guy here, which I guess you just give him the old 1-2 unplug. And then this wire here needs to come out. Okay, and then this whole harness is going to go down and around and under these grounds, and just poke it through. Okay. When the motor comes out, we'll snake that down. We know that's come out. Okay. There's a fuel line in here that needs to come out. It's right here. This guy here. That fuel line right there needs to come out. And then the main fuel rail line needs to come off too, which is this guy right here. So he'll come off, and we'll just pop these. So that's the fuel line. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna cut this guy right here, because they use these stupid clamps, and we're just gonna replace this piece of hose right here. So we'll cut this, that fuel line comes out, that comes out. The other thing from the top that needs to come out, we're gonna take off the air box. And then, let's see here. Oh, here's a couple plugs here. These two plugs need to come out. Them two plugs are part of this lower harness. And, what else, Zach?
I think that's it from the top side.
Yeah, then there's some e-brake lines and stuff that need to come out from the bottom. But some of this stuff is gonna have to come out after we drop it down some, because we have the coolant lines and stuff. So we're just trying to get the stuff from the top. So we're gonna kick the fans back on. Zach can kind of put the old looker in here. We're gonna hook these few things. So now if you look down in this hole here, okay, the shifting lever has 3 bolts. So there's a little bolt here and a big bolt here that goes through the shifting lever, okay, and then there's 2 more here that are actually the transmission mount here. You gotta loosen up this one and loosen up this one, remove this one and remove this one, and you remove the one transmission bolt right over here, right over there, and then you can actually take the transmission, here's the mount right here. You can see it slides out, boop, just like that. We're out of the way. So that's all you gotta do for the transmission. Pretty simple. We got the wires up here. We do have the fuel lines. We'll get them after. We're gonna go up underneath now and unhook the few things up underneath. So let's go for a ride. Okay, we're up underneath the car. I'm gonna take you for a little ride, okay? Okay, we took the skid pan off up underneath. It was just 4 screws. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4. Skid pan's out. Now up here, you can see it not well. Flashlight, man. There we go. So you have your ABS wires here, okay, and ABS and 2 brake line wires. Now when you take the pan out, you'll see that there's actually connections right here. Okay, there's the rear tire. There, right here. So I just marked this one with some gold paint marker. Unplug that one, and then we're gonna unplug that one, and that gets the 2 ABS sensors out of here. And then I'm not gonna do it just yet, but right here, you can split the brake lines from the rubber lines right here, simply. Just doop doop. They're different sizes, so you can't really mess them up. So, but remember, I have to bleed the brakes when we're done. Yay! Now back up under here, I do know that there's a couple wires here that need to come out, and we're gonna have to pull the starter, which is under this case, I guess. You'll love go-karts, they don't really hook anything down, they just, you know, kind of do that. So the starter does need to come out. You can see that or not? It's like 2 bolts, the starter comes out, so we can get to the back of the harness here. and get that out. So we gotta pull that out. And then the only other weird thing we have, well, back here you can see that's the lines, the radiator lines. Back up in here, let me see Zach. So we got 2, 3 radiator lines, and they're crimp hoses too. So what we gotta do is just cut the bands, and we'll go back with regular clamps there. And then the air conditioning, we're going to actually unhook the air conditioner from the engine, because that's right here, and just zip bungee cord or whatever that up. So there's really not a lot up underneath here, and then there's just 4 bolts. There's one there, one back there by Zach, and then one there and one up front, and then this whole cradle will just drop out from underneath. So really not that hard. It's really, you know, half a dozen bolts and what have you. So I'm gonna work on getting this starter yanked out, and I'll show you, I guess, after I pull the starter out, you know, the rest of this harness we're pulling out. Zach is going to do something, right? So I thought.
There's only so much room underneath this car, though.
Yeah, you can only work so much. So just finding bolt sizes are, you know, so you're gonna need, everything's 12 point, just saying, okay? Basically, everything's 12 point. But I know this harness needs to come out. Oh, I see, that's where them hoses go. Back up into there. Okay. Well, cool. Well, let's set you up and see if we can put you somewhere where you can actually see something, maybe. Well, as you can see, we've pulled the bolts out and the cradle's free with the motor. So we gotta unhook some coolant lines, fuel lines on the top, and emergency brake line. And that should be it. We should be able to jack it right out and roll this right up. So we actually have it. Maybe. Probably not. So down in this hole, way down in here, like, I don't know if Zach can show you, right there, is that e-brake line. When we get the car out, we'll show you what it takes to pop that out. But it's kind of a bear to get to. We pulled the harness back down through there. So next we got to get the air conditioning pump, which is way down there. Get the bolts off from that. And then we have this one fuel line, which we're waiting on. And we got 3 coolant lines right there that need to come off. And that's it. Everything else is done. So we're going to crawl in there and try to get that one bolt off the top, and I think the other 2 bolts come off the bottom for the AC compressor. honestly, the brake line, the heater hoses and the radiator hoses are probably the hardest. But you saw we took that metal piece across off. I didn't realize it comes off. Take it off. There's plenty of room to get rid of it. So now, as you can see, we've done separated the engine, transmission from the car. So I'm gonna have Zach come on in here for a minute, and I'm just gonna kind of highlight a few things for you guys. So here was that one harness that we talked about that has a couple plugs, okay? That was simple. Back in here, you can see the brake lines and the wires for the ABS are right here, and then that's where that panel was. Here is your coolant lines. The coolant lines went here and the heater hose went here, okay? So that's where the clamps are at. We had to change. They go up into the car. You got your battery cable, and then you got your AC compressor stuff, which is right here. Oops, sorry, Zach. Okay, so we left that hooked up so we wouldn't lose our Freon. That's where the cold air intake goes. Here's your shifter cable, okay? And then up here, it's an EGR hose along with this other hose. I'm sorry, return line EGR hose, okay? And then we had that other bolt harness that come down out of here. There is one bolt right here that's a real pain. That one right there, that nut, that's a ground. Other than that, you just take out the bolts. We lifted the car up as you saw, and just right over there. So here's your heater hoses here. I don't know if we can see them, but we're gonna lower the car down and show you guys. Okay. Well, Zach, for our first smart car engine removal, I think that went pretty well. Now, I will say, it'd been a whole lot easier to do this aftermarket exhaust and aftermarket springs and shocks like this. A whole lot easier. But, oh well. Well, as you can see by watching the video, hopefully that helped you a little bit. There really ain't that much to this. You have the 4 bolts in the corners. Here's your heater hoses that we talked about up underneath. Oh yeah, I did cut that wire, okay? This wire actually is your starter wire, your alternator wire here. And I couldn't get to it. It's gonna be easier for me just to literally crimp a new eyelet on this, and these go to the starter. So it keeps them separate anyways. It's better that way. And that's the starter wire. What else is tricky? This is your harness from the ECM. Oh yeah, I'll tell you too, the AC does not use a tensioner. It just bolts on here. So you have to use a screwdriver and turn the motor over and pop it off. The upper did have a tensioner, so I was able to do that. The EVAP, that you saw how that popped off. There really wasn't much to this. It was really simple. And then you see it, I mean, I was able to balance it and just pull it right out. The thing don't weigh nothing. It's really light. So what we need to do next is probably pull this harness up off and get this stuff stripped off to here. Get the exhaust pulled off from it. And see what it's going to take to split the motor and transmission. I imagine, I don't even know. I mean, there's a bolt here and there's one here. So imagine we can pull the shafts out and then unbolt these two, and then just with a forklift pick the motor up, split them, and then we can open up this end of this motor here, and because that's where the timing chain's at and the oil pump chain's at, and that's what we think is bad, is the oil pump gear on these go bad. So this would be a good one. Again, if you know, they're known for that, so you know, you guys have one that's doing this, you'll hopefully know how to take it apart. But this is a whole lot of work just to sell a car. But I guess whoever gets it, she'll be a brand new motor. Lucky them. So, but I think we're gonna close this video. I'm a mess. I need to shower. The car's a mess. We're gonna have to, you know, give this some cleaning. want to clean on this a little bit. And I guess you're going to have to come back for part 2. Part 2 will split the motor, split the transmission, get the end opened up, find out the problems, and then we'll probably have like a number 3 where we rebuild the motor and put it back in, and then we'll back up underneath the car, test drive it, put a for sale sign on it, and you could buy it. You could, just saying, it'd be for sale. But thanks for subscribing, thanks for watching, and I hope this video helps you out. I know we're rusted up garage when we're working on this stuff and ain't rusted, but it was kind of a bad name actually if I think about it now, because we don't live up north. There ain't a lot of rust down here. I should have called it Unrusted Up Garage. Oh well, whatever. We still work on a bunch of unique junk, so Unique Junk Garage, that would have been a good name. Sorry, I'm rambling, it's late, I'm tired. So I hope you enjoyed this part. Make sure you come back for part 2, where we're gonna pull this apart and find out what the metal is from. So stick around, part 2. Thanks again, peace out.